Hi students, very good morning. This is Jyotisri, JL in Chemistry, AP Balayogi Gurukulam, Chiprapalli. In this video, I am going to teach you about the solutions part 2 in the senior intermediate chemistry. Students, in this video, we are going to learn about Henry's law, Raoult's law, and colligative properties of the solutions. In the previous video, we learn about the solubility term. Solubility means the amount of solute dissolved in a particular amount of the solvent. In general, the solubility of the gases in water increases with increasing mass. It is because of larger molecules have stronger dispersion forces. I repeat, larger molecules have stronger dispersion forces. It is clearly visible from the picture. That is, the solubility of nitrogen is 0.69 into 10 power minus 3 molar. And that of carbon monoxide is 1.04 into 10 power minus 3 molar. So with the increasing molecular mass, the solubility also increases. So the solubility of the gases increases with the increasing mass. Another important factor of solubility of the gas in the solvent is pressure. With increasing pressure, the solubility of the gas is more. Generally, the solubility of liquids and solids does not change appreciably with pressure. But the solubility of the gas in a liquid is directly proportional to its pressure. This means if we increase the pressure in the solution, the solubility of the gas is more. If the pressure is less, solubility will be less. So, solubility is directly proportional to the pressure of the gas. Henry is the scientist who tried to explain the effect of pressure on the solubility of the gases in the solution or in the solvent. According to Henry's law, the amount of gas dissolved in a solution is directly proportional to the pressure of the gas over the solution. I repeat, the amount of gas dissolved in a solution is directly proportional to the pressure of the gas over the solution. It means the solubility of the gas is directly proportional to the pressure of the gas over the solution. If we increase the pressure, more gas will be dissolved in the solution. If we decrease the pressure, less gas will be dissolved in the solution. This is called Henry's law. Henry's law, mathematically expressed as Sg is equal to K into Pg, where Sg is called solubility of the gas, K is called Henry's law constant. It is constant for the particular gas in that solvent. And Pg is called partial pressure of the gas above the liquid. I repeat, Sg is equal to K into Pg. It is the mathematical representation of Henry's law. We can explain Henry's law with another statement also. That is, the partial pressure of the gas in vapor phase is directly proportional to the mole fraction of the gas in the vapor phase. The partial pressure of the gas in vapor phase is directly proportional to the mole fraction of the gas in the vapor phase. It is mathematically expressed as P is equal to Kh into Xi. Here P is called partial pressure of the gas, Kh is called Henry's law constant, and X is nothing but mole fraction of the gas or mole fraction of the solute. So this is another statement of Henry's law. Before going to the next topic, we'll discuss a new term called vapor pressure. Vapor pressure is nothing but the pressure exerted by the vapor when it is in equilibrium with its liquid state. Liquid molecules at the surface escape into the gas phase. These gas particles create a pressure over the liquid in a closed container, which is called vapor pressure of the liquid. So we have to clearly understand the term called vapor pressure. The vapor pressure is nothing but the pressure exerted by a gas when it is in equilibrium with a solid or a liquid in a closed container at a given temperature. The gas that is above the liquid is called vapor, and it creates some pressure which is called vapor pressure. The vapor pressure exerted by a vapor when it is in equilibrium with its liquid phase is called vapor pressure. This is the pressure at which the liquid is converted into vapor. I repeat, this is the pressure at which the liquid converted into vapor. It is independent of the quantity of the liquid or its surface area, and it increases with increasing temperature. It depends on the strength of attraction between the molecules in the liquid state. This is about the vapor pressure. So let us take one example. Take one beaker and some liquid in it. Keep some lid on the beaker. When there is a lid on the container, the gas phase molecules are trapped. Means the gas molecules are settled down on the surface of the liquid. They are called vapor, and this vapor creates some pressure on the liquid, which is nothing but vapor pressure of the liquid. Now I am going to explain very important concept. Here I have taken two beakers. The first beaker is full of solvent molecules, and the second beaker is a beaker of solution. So the first beaker, it exerts some pressure over this liquid, which is called vapor pressure of pure solvent P0. I am repeating, P0 is the vapor pressure of pure solvent. Here there is some vapor pressure above this solution, which is called PS or P. Here P represents the vapor pressure of the solution. If you observe, P0 is more than that of P, means vapor pressure of the pure solvent is more than that of the vapor pressure of the solution, means P0 is greater than P. So there is a difference between P0 and P. That difference is nothing but lowering of vapor pressure. I repeat, lowering of vapor pressure. It means the vapor pressure decreases by the addition of solute molecules or solute particles to the pure solvent. This decrease of vapor pressure by the addition of a solute particles is called lowering of vapor pressure. I will explain once again. If you observe these two beakers, the first one is pure solvent and the second one is the solution. Here if you observe, the vapor pressure of the pure solvent is more. So the escaping tendency of the gas molecule is more. So the vapor pressure is high. If you observe the solution, the vapor pressure of the solution is very less. So the escaping tendency of the molecules, gas molecules is also less, which lowers the vapor pressure. So we have to understood that vapor pressure of pure solvent is always greater than that of the vapor pressure of the solution. I am repeating again and again. The vapor pressure of pure solvent is more than that of the vapor pressure of the solution. The difference between these two means P0 and PS is called lowering of vapor pressure. P0 minus PS is called lowering of vapor pressure. P0 is the vapor pressure of pure solvent and PS is the vapor pressure of solution. P0 minus PS is equals to lowering of vapor pressure. In general, non-volatile solvent reduce the ability of surface solvent molecules to escape the liquid. Therefore, vapor pressure is lowered by the addition of solute to the pure solvent. The amount of vapor pressure lowered depends upon the amount of solute present in the solvent. Now, I am going to explain another important term called relative lowering of vapor pressure, RLVP. It is the ratio between lowering of vapor pressure and vapor pressure of the pure solvent. I repeat, the relative lowering of vapor pressure is the ratio between lowering of vapor pressure and vapor pressure of the pure solvent. That is, RLVP is equals to LVP by P naught. We know that LVP is equal to P0 minus PS. Therefore, RLVP is equal to P0 minus PS by P0. This is called relative lowering of vapor pressure. Here P0 is the vapor pressure of the pure solvent and PS is the vapor pressure of solution. It is the photograph of scientist Mary Rawls. Rawls' name is best known in connection with work on solution, to which he devoted the last 2 decades of his life. He established a law called Rawls' law of dilute solutions, which explains the relationship between RLVP and the mole fraction of the solute. So let us see what is Rawls' law. According to Rawls' law, the relative lowering of vapor pressure of dilute solution which contains non-volatile solute is equals to the mole fraction of the solute in the solution. That is, RLVP is equal to Xis. Here RLVP means relative lowering of vapor pressure. Xis means mole fraction of the solute. So mathematically, Rawls' law can be expressed as P0 minus PS by P0, which is equals to Ns by Ns plus N0. This is the mathematical expression of Rawls' law. Rawls' law is applicable for the dilute solutions in which the solute is purely non-volatile in nature. I repeat, Rawls' law is applicable for the dilute solutions in which the solute is non-volatile in nature. Let us see what is meant by an ideal solution. The solutions which obey Rawls' law at all concentrations and temperatures are called ideal solutions. So, the ideal solutions obey Rawls' law at all concentrations and temperatures. Means the relative lowering of vapor pressure is equals to mole fraction of the solute for the ideal solutions. The best example is the mixture of benzene and toluene are the best examples for non-ideal solutions. Now, what is meant by non-ideal solutions? The solutions which does not obey Raoult's law at all concentrations and temperatures are called non-ideal solutions. It means the solutions in which the relative lowering of vapor pressure is not equal to the mole fraction of the solute are called non-ideal solutions. That means the solutions in which RLVP is either greater than mole fraction of the solute or RLVP is less than mole fraction of the solute. That type of solutions are called non-ideal solutions. The best example is the mixture of acetone and carbon disulfide is a good example for non-ideal solution. Dear students, now I am going to teach very important concept called colligative properties. Let us see what is meant by a colligative property. Colligative properties are the properties of the solution which does not depend upon the nature of the solute particles present in the solution but only depends upon the number of solute particles present in the solution. I repeat, colligative properties depends only on the number of dissolved particles, either molecules or ions, small or large, whatever it may be, and do not depends upon the nature of solute particles. So there are four important colligative properties of the solution. They are osmotic pressure, lowering of vapor pressure, boiling point elevation, freezing point depression. These four are the important colligative properties of the solution. On adding a solute to the solvent, the properties of the solvent are modified. That is, vapor pressure decreases, melting point decreases, boiling point increases, and osmosis is possible. These changes are nothing but the colligative properties of the solution. The colligative properties depends only on the number of solute particles relative to the solvent particles but not on the kind or nature of solute particles. I am repeating again and again. Colligative properties depends only on the number of solute particles present, not on the identity of the solute particles. Among colligative properties, the vapor pressure lowering, boiling point elevation, melting point depression, osmotic pressure. These four are called colligative properties. Already we have seen the property of lowering of vapor pressure. When non-volatile solute is dissolved in the solvent, the vapor pressure of the solvent is lowered, which is called vapor pressure lowering. Solvent molecules on the surface which can escape into vapor is replaced by the solute molecules have little vapor pressure. That is, P0 is greater than Ps or P0 minus Ps is called lowering of vapor pressure. Why a vapor pressure lowering is a colligative property? Because it only depends upon the number of dissolved solute particles. The lowering of vapor pressure is due to the number of solute particles in the solution, and it is very important colligative property of the solution. Adding a non-volatile solute to the pure solvent, it lowers the vapor pressure of the pure solvent. When a solute is present, a mixture of solvent and solute occupies the surface area and fewer particles enter into the gaseous state. The greater number of solute particles, lower will be the vapor pressure. This is called lowering of vapor pressure, which is a colligative property. Let us recall the vapor pressure lowering or lowering of vapor pressure. We know that vapor pressure is the pressure exerted by the vapor when it is dynamic equilibrium with its liquid in a closed system. When there is no solute particles, that is, when a pure solvent is there, then more vapor pressure is there. When solute is added to the solvent, the vapor pressure is lowered. So there is a difference between the vapor pressure of pure solvent and vapor pressure of the solution. This difference P0 minus Ps is nothing but lowering of vapor pressure. Students, already we know what is meant by relative lowering of vapor pressure. The ratio between the lowering of vapor pressure and vapor pressure of the pure solvent is called relative lowering of vapor pressure. It is one of the first important colligative property of the solution. This RLVP is equals to P0 minus Ps by P0. Before going to the next colligative property, let us see what is meant by a boiling point of a liquid. The boiling point of a liquid is the temperature at which the vapor pressure of the liquid is equals to the atmospheric pressure surrounding the liquid 760 millimeters of Hg. So the boiling point of a liquid is the temperature at which the liquid starts to boil. Now is it clear, students? The boiling point of a liquid is the temperature at which the vapor pressure of the liquid is equals to atmospheric vapor pressure. For a solution, the vapor pressure of the solvent is lower at any given temperature. Therefore, higher the temperature is required to boil the solution than the pure solvent. So, by addition of a solute to the pure solvent, the boiling point of the solution is increases. This increase is called boiling point elevation. By the addition of a solute to the solvent, the boiling point of the solution increases, which is called elevation in the boiling point. It is a very important second colligative property. If we represent the difference in the boiling point between pure solvent and solution as delta Tb, then we can calculate the change in the boiling point from the formula delta Tb is equals to Kb into small m, where small m is the molality, because molality is temperature independent quantity. Kb is called ebullioscopic constant and I is Van 't Hoff factor and represents the number of dissociated moles of solute per 1 mole. Just we recall once. Boiling point elevation is a colligative property related to the vapor pressure lowering. The boiling point of a liquid is the temperature at which the vapor pressure of liquid is equals to atmospheric pressure. Due to vapor pressure lowering, a solution will acquire or require higher temperature to reach its boiling point than the pure solvent, which is called boiling point elevation. Next important property that is colligative property is freezing point depression. We know freezing point or melting point is the temperature at which the solid and liquid are in equilibrium under 1 atmosphere pressure. By the addition of solute to the pure solvent, it lowers the vapor pressure, so it will decreases the freezing point or melting point. This decrease in the freezing point is called freezing point depression. In order for a liquid to freeze, it must achieve a very ordered state that results the formation of a crystal. If there are any impurities in the liquid, that is solute, the liquid is inherently less ordered. Therefore, a solution is more difficult to freeze than the pure solvent. So a lower temperature is required to freeze the liquid. This is called freezing point depression or depression in the freezing point, which is a colligative property. To calculate the difference in the freezing point, we can use the formula delta TF is equals to minus I into Kf into small m. Here the negative sign indicates the decrease in the freezing point of the solution than that of the pure solvent. Small m is nothing but molality, which is a temperature independent quantity. Kf is called molar depression constant or cryoscopic constant. I is Van 't Hoff factor, which represents the number of dissociated moles of solute per 1 mole. Let us recall once. Every liquid has a freezing point. It is the temperature at which a liquid undergoes a phase change from liquid to solid. When solute particles are added to the liquid forming a solution, then the solute particles disrupt the formation of crystals of the solvent. That disruption in the freezing process result in a decrease of the freezing point or a depression in the freezing point for the solution relative to the pure solvent. So this depression in the freezing point is called a colligative property. Dear students, now we are going to learn about very interesting concept. Let us see. Here I have taken two solutions. One is dilute solution, another one is concentrated solution. Means lower concentration, higher concentration. Lower concentration of the solute, higher concentration of the solute. These two solutions are separated by a membrane called semi-permeable membrane. Catch my point, students? Semi-permeable membrane. This membrane has a capacity to move only the solvent molecules but not the solute particles. So, when these two solutions of different concentrations are separated by this membrane, then the solvent molecules, the solvent particles enter into the solution. So, the inflow of solvent molecules from the less concentration region to the higher concentration region is called the process of osmosis. What, students? Osmosis. So osmosis, the solvent molecules will enter into the solution from less concentration to more concentrated region. This process of flow of solvent molecules into the solution is called osmosis. To understand the process of osmosis, let us see some concepts. Some substances form semi-permeable membranes, which allows some smaller particles to pass through but blocking the other larger particles. In biological systems, most semi-permeable membranes allow water to pass through, but solutes are not free to do so. Okay, students, now we are going to define the last colligative property, osmotic pressure. The pressure required to prevent the solvent molecules into the solution when these are separated by a semi-permeable membrane is called osmotic pressure, or the pressure required to prevent the osmosis process is called osmotic pressure. So, osmotic pressure is the important colligative property which prevents the solvent molecules flow into the solution when the solvent and solution are separated by a semi-permeable membrane. or it is the pressure which prevents the process of osmosis. That is, the pressure which prevents the osmosis process is called osmotic pressure. It is represented with the letter pi. So, osmotic pressure is the pressure created by the water moving across the membrane due to osmosis. In osmosis, there is a net movement of solvent molecules from the higher solvent concentration to lower solvent concentration, that is solution. So, the inflow of solvent molecules into the solution when these are separated by a semi-permeable membrane is called osmosis. Osmotic pressure is the pressure which stops the osmosis process, and it is the pressure which required to prevent the osmosis process. Osmotic pressure pi can be calculated using the formula pi is equals to N by V into RT, which is equals to capital M RT. Here N is the number of moles of the solute, V is called volume of the solution, R is called gas constant, and T is called temperature in absolute scale. M is nothing but the molarity of the solution. If the osmotic pressure is same on both sides of the membrane, that is the concentrations are the same, then solutions are called isotonic. Isotonic. This diagram also explains the process of osmosis. Here the solution, blue colored beaker solution, is nothing but the pure solvent, and the piston contains high concentrated solution. These two, the piston and the beaker solution, both are the solvent and the solution are separated by a semi-permeable membrane. So by applying the pressure, we can stop the inflow of solvent molecules into the solution. So which is nothing but the osmotic pressure. So osmotic pressure is the pressure which stops the process of osmosis. Okay, students? Examples of osmosis are found in living organisms, like cells are semi-permeable. Their function and survival depends upon the maintenance of same osmotic pressure inside the cell and outside in the extracellular fluids. Isotonic solution, isoosmotic solution having the same osmotic pressure, such as body fluids like blood with 0.89% of saline solution or sodium chloride solution, mass by volume. Let us see what is meant by isotonic solutions. The solutions which are having same osmotic pressure at a given temperature are called isotonic solutions. So isotonic solutions are the solutions which possess same osmotic pressure at a particular temperature. Here iso means same and tonic means concentration. For example, physiologically isotonic solutions are the solutions having same osmotic pressure as that of body fluids when separated by a biological membrane. Biological fluids such as blood and lacrimal fluids normally have same osmotic pressure corresponding to that of saline water, which is nothing but 0.9% weight by volume of sodium chloride solution. So we can say 0.9% solution of sodium chloride is said to be isotonic with the physiological fluid like blood. So the blood and saline are the isotonic solutions. These are all the isotonic fluids. 0.9% saline solution, 5% dextrose in 0.225% of saline, and lactated Ringer's solution. All these are the isotonic fluids which we are using in our day-to-day life. We know that isotonic solutions are the solutions which are having same osmotic pressure at a given temperature. Let us see what is hypotonic solution. A hypotonic solution is a lower osmotic pressure than that of the body fluid. Let us see what is meant by hypertonic solution. Hypertonic solution is a solution having higher osmotic pressure than that of the body fluid. This is about the isotonic solutions and hypotonic solutions and hypertonic solutions. Okay students, with this I conclude my video. Hope all of you understood the lesson. Have a good day. Thank you very much.